So thank you so much for joining today. I am Caitlin Brown, the site lead here at 701 Fitness.
And I'm TJ. I am the health fitness specialist here at 701.
Yeah, we are so excited that you have been part of the Sweat Reset program. So thank you for joining, and thanks for joining this presentation to earn your bonus points. We will be going through a slide deck. So I'll start presenting that now. Feel free to jump in if you have any questions throughout. And yeah, let's get rolling. Awesome. So welcome. Today we are going to be talking about building good nutritional habits and making them stick. So this is pretty much just building good habits in general and how to make them actually stick and stay in your daily routine. Next week, we're going to be incorporating a habit. It can be nutrition related, but it also can be related to mindset or recovery as well. So just keep that in mind while we're going through this presentation. Okay, TJ?
All right, so during this listen and learn, we'll be talking about 6 different things. We'll be talking about making sure you're drinking enough water. Second, adding fruits and vegetables to your day. 3 is being mindful, so like mindful eating. 4 is about sleep. 5 is taking breaks throughout the day, throughout work. And then lastly, we will be talking about how to make habits stick.
Awesome. So we're jumping right into drinking more water. So why is water important? It keeps you alert, keeps you energized, cushions your joints, hydrates your skin, and keeps your hunger at bay. So different tips to drink more water. First one is eating hydrating foods. So a few examples of that are watermelon, cucumber, blueberries, raspberries, eggplant, spinach. So pretty much a lot of fruits and vegetables. This is actually a really good way to add more water into your diet, even if you're not even thinking about drinking it, eating those hydrating foods. Second one is finding a water bottle that you love. What I do on a daily basis is I try to drink at least 3 bottles of my water bottle that I just refill every day. So during our Healthy Habits Challenge that we did last year, I made it a habit. One of the habits that I wanted to increase was to drink more water. So I had to get up in the morning, drink some water before I had any coffee, and then I wanted to finish a full bottle before it was 10 a.m. If I did that, I found that I did a lot better job of drinking water throughout the day. My second bottle I tried to drink before 2 p.m. And then my third one was drinking another bottle before bed. So just trying to find what works for you. Another way to do it is to identify a cue that will remind you to drink. One of the easiest things is just to have a bottle of water at your desk when you're working or carrying with you either on a walk or in the car. An idea for a cue is every time you're driving to and from work to drink at least half a bottle of water. So trying to make that habit and sticking with it. And then pair drinking with an already established habit. So let's say I'm going to get up in the morning. So I wake up and I drink, a half a glass of water, or I wake up, I brush my teeth, then I drink some water. Pairing it with multiple habits throughout the day that you already do is a really good way to add it in. So I think this will probably be a really popular one for next week. If you have any more questions about how you can create those little habits, let us know.
That's an awesome one. That last bullet point, Caitlin, just because that's something that I started doing more of with the pairing. I'll brush my teeth and then I have a glass sitting next to the sink in my bathroom. And I'll drink water just so that I'm being more aware of drinking. So for this next one, we're going to talk about adding fruits and vegetables to your day. This one can be a challenge for some people, but I'm going to try to present ways to make it a little easier. So in this case, talking about like making it convenient, whether it's like preparation, like finding a day like a Sunday night or like a Sunday during the day and maybe prepping like 4 or 5 like different fruits and vegetables, things that are like, a little more hardy, like broccoli and cabbage and stuff like that are going to hold a little longer within the refrigerator versus like if you pre-chop, like let's say tomatoes, they may not hang around or, last as long in the refrigerator. So I'd definitely be a little careful about pre-prepping chopped tomatoes, but onions, peppers, doing that. But of course, maybe it's just easier for you to buy, like pre-chopped vegetables, at a grocery store. It may cost a little more, but if it's easier for you and it works for you in order to make, like in this case, the habit to get in the habit of getting more fruits and veggies in your diet, something like that then would work for you. So then when they are prepped, so whether you prep them or you just buy them, then it just makes that preparation for like meals a lot easier, whether you're adding it to things. And so going into that aspect of like adding them into like your meals, like for example, like if I ever make like a chili or a meat sauce, for like spaghetti or whatever the case may be, that I always try to add more veggies into those particular things, just so I'm getting, the vitamins, the minerals, and all those things that are important. And then I don't feel like I'm missing out. And I love doing that. And again, it's easy when you have them like already ready for you. So then in continuation to, this like preparation, like let's say you're roasting like a whole tray of veggies, in the oven, you could just take like a quarter of like a sheet pan and you could just do some onions, some peppers, some, Brussels sprouts, or, even like diced potatoes. I know we never really encourage like to eat like potatoes, but I think, if you do it in moderation, but you're not like frying them, I think that it's a little better that way, but at least you have some variety. And then you can figure out, how to kind of incorporate those sorts of things into like meals, even if it's like meal preparation, for like the week, if you're taking your meals with you to your workplace. But, really try to utilize like herbs and spices and oils and things that are going to appeal to you, because things shouldn't be boring. They shouldn't taste boring, because if it wasn't exciting, then nobody would really be eating, vegetables. Of course, I think, that kind of goes back to like the childhood, days of like, whether it was like frozen veggies and being forced as a kid to eat them, which in my case would be true. But otherwise, find ways of like incorporating like fruits and veggies, into like, your snacks. Whether it's like, like the baby carrots, or if it's like taking an apple, like a very small, like, kind of baseball sized apple. We always see these like mutant pieces of fruit that could be like twice the serving size and are probably like the size of like your fist. But otherwise, like those things, would be good ways of getting, veggies and fruits into your day as well, especially if it's convenient. Kind of going back to like the convenience part, if you're afraid things are going to go bad, just like peel, chop, and freeze them, so that way you could just use them later. But I would definitely try to do those sorts of things. But yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, and a good habit that you could implement for next week, if this is one of your goals, is to get in one fruit or vegetable for every meal and snack, adding it in. So that would be a really easy one to add in, or easy in theory to add in. That's always one of my goals every day. Okay, so moving into mindful eating. So some of the benefits of mindful eating are, or some of the many benefits of mindful eating include paying attention to things like texture, aroma, and you tend to eat slower. So why is mindful eating important? It helps with digestion. It helps you recognize when you're full, or if you're still hungry and can have a little bit more. It also helps you realize if the food that you're eating feels good for you. Everyone kind of digests differently and reacts to different foods in a different way. So just paying attention, eating nice and slow, and paying attention to how you feel after your meals, that's really important. So some different tips: chew thoroughly. This allows you to realize when you are becoming full, and it also aids in digestion. So obviously the first part of digestion is chewing. So, so you want to make sure you chew pretty thoroughly. It'll help the whole process of digestion, getting out the nutrients, but also making your gut do less of the work. Eliminate distractions by turning off the TV and putting down your phone. I think everyone has experienced it where they're sitting in front of the TV, and then after they finish eating whatever they're eating, they realize they ate like a whole bag of chips, or they ate a whole pizza, because they weren't really paying attention to how full they were. And then they also probably didn't realize, you just kind of just eat instead of paying attention to everything, how it's making you feel and your fullness cues. So definitely eliminating distractions. And then focus on how you feel. Do you feel sluggish? Do you feel energized? Do you feel overly full, bloated, kind of sick after? You can take these cues to determine if you should eat more or less of any particular food. Like I said, everyone reacts differently to different foods. So what might be great for one person isn't the best for another person, or you should just eat a little bit less of it. So just take in consideration those cues. Stop eating when you're full. I would actually recommend pausing when you are about 3/4 full. This is especially true at a restaurant. When you have like a massive plate in front of you, sometimes it's hard to get the fullness cues while you're actually eating. If you take some breaks, you can realize like, hey, I am actually full. I can take the rest to go, or I am still hungry. I'll eat a few more bites, and just taking that time, especially at a restaurant, while you're having conversation, that's an easy way to implement it. If you do find that you're overeating at restaurants, another good way to do it is ask for a to-go box, or bring a to-go box if you can to the restaurant in the first place, and put your half of your meal in there if you know if it's going to be a really big one. And then the last one is appreciate and enjoy your food. My philosophy is that there are no bad foods, but some food should be eaten in moderation. So if you are eating a treat, take time and enjoy it. Enjoy your foods.
The next slide is going to be talking about sleep. We know that sleep is really important. But sometimes we don't necessarily understand like how important sleep is. So those benefits of sleep would be things like strengthening the immune system, improving performance, whether it's athletic, or how you do at work or how you perform, at home. And I personally do not know in the sense that I'm not a parent, but I know that sometimes, for those who have kids, that sometimes that could be a challenge when kids wake up, especially if they're younger. Um, Otherwise, that performance extends into like productivity and problem solving. And we've always heard that with like, kids like eating like a good, quality breakfast. Well, the same holds true for, adults. Um, is just making sure that you get, the 6 to 8 hours of sleep, that's necessary. And everyone's going to be different, to what they need for sleep and um, what that entails for like feeling productive, throughout the day and be able to like stay focused. Other benefits are like improved mood and memory. Um, you know, Obviously mental health is a big one, especially these past couple of years. So making sure that we, get to bed on time, and that we're, disconnecting from our devices, you know, the best that we can, at least an hour before bedtime, just so that we don't get lost in scrolling and texting and, everything that involves, your cellular device or, maybe even watching TV, holds true as well. And then lastly, which is a big one when we're talking about, the goals that we have for ourselves in the way of our exercise, and our well-being is weight management. That if we, you know, like if sleep is interrupted, that can sometimes mess with the hormones, and then the hormones, start giving off these signals of, oh, I'm hungry, or, I can't sleep, or I'm bored, so as long as we're able to identify, that, hey, we need more sleep, or, hey, what am I feeling exactly when I am awake, you know, and so as long as we can make those identifications, that we feel like we're setting ourselves up to knowing, how to improve.
Yeah, awesome. And so when we're talking about the habits for next week, this would also be a good one to incorporate if you feel like you don't get enough sleep every night, maybe trying to get picking, 7 or 8 hours and making that your goal Monday through Friday next week. It's another good one to think about. Okay, we're jumping into Workday Breaks, which is our last one that we're going to be talking about today. So why are workday breaks important? They help you recharge, they improve job satisfaction, they improve mental well-being, boost creativity, allows time for healthy habits, and boost productivity. So there's been a lot of studies on workday breaks, and each company obviously has different rules around this. But if you have a pretty flexible schedule, there's been some really unique studies around when you should take breaks and for how long throughout the day that I can go into just a little bit. So I get it, when you're working on something, it may be really hard to take a break, or you may feel like taking a break will put you behind during the workday. But actually, studies have shown that taking a break every 75 to 90 minutes for about 15 minutes is ideal. So the Energy Project has found that people naturally go from full focus to physical or physiological fatigue approximately every 90 minutes. So every hour and a half, you should be trying to get in a 15-minute break. If you can't get in a full 15 minutes, that's okay. Get in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, anything for you to take a quick mental break. Physical break is wonderful as well. If you can get outside, if you can join one of our stretch breaks or express abs classes, or if you can take a bigger break, joining a class or getting in a workout during the day, that can really make your kind of change your philosophy for the day, change your mindset, and also just re-energize you. There's a reason for the frequency of work breaks. The human brain has two modes: learning / focusing and consolidation. Taking frequent breaks helps the brain understand and retain information that has recently processed. So if you're just trying to work all day and don't take any time for breaks, you're going to feel overwhelmed with information and probably not retain it as well as you would have if you were able to take some breaks. So this, again, would be a great one to try to implement next week, taking a break every 90 minutes for just 15 minutes. Or even if you can't get in that full 15, stand up at your desk, do 15 squats, and then, maybe walk to grab some water and then come back. Taking just little breaks during the day can make a huge difference. Okay, TJ, finish us off here.
Forgot that was on mute as people were walking by. All right. So for the last one, we're going to talk about making habits stick. So the ones that are highlighted in blue are going to be the ones that I talk about more. But we talk about these like 6 sources of like influence, when we talk about like challenges and how we could set ourselves up for success, that we talk about like personal motivation and personal ability. So personal motivation is, what's desirable versus undesirable, what pushes you to keep going in order to, in order to motivate yourself to, reach whatever goal it is that you have in life. It doesn't need to necessarily be fitness, but obviously that's what we're focusing on. So then next would be things like your personal ability, surpassing, your limits, knowing what challenges, you face and, but being able to work past those challenges. And if you're not sure how to work past those challenges, especially in a fitness sense, you could always reach out to myself or Caitlin, and we would gladly help you try to figure out ways of getting beyond that. So the next point is going to be the one that I talk about the most, and that's social motivation. I really wanted to talk about things that, maybe we don't necessarily think about all the time. So that's why I'm highlighting these 3. So social motivation. So going out with other people, whether it's friends or family, but if you have a goal, but you want to stick to that goal by sharing with other people, friends and family, that if they're aware, that hopefully they'll help you stick to it, as long as they've got your back, and that it's not about, sabotage, whether it's them or you, because sometimes that could be the case too. So we need to figure out ways of kind of keeping that peer pressure, kind of in check. And so then that goes into social ability, having that strength in numbers. Again, the more people you tell when it comes to the goals that you have, the more people are going to keep hopefully keep on you. So it's that accountability, that sometimes we need, because some of us either we're very motivated and we can motivate ourselves, or maybe we're not so motivated, but if we can tell other people what we're doing, maybe that accountability will keep you in check, as well. Um, again, whether it's friends or family, or even, finding someone who maybe has like the same goals as you, or, something about that person, really attracts you to like them, and like you could work together and be each other's rock. Next, the other non-highlighted point would be like structural motivation. So these are things based on like rewards and going back to like the accountability. But, sometimes we're driven, by the rewards, whether it's, like tangible things that we can like hold in our hand, like saying, I'm going to allow myself this coffee, this coffee drink if I meet this particular goal. That would be something tangible because you can hold it in your hand, versus something intangible, something more kind of internal, like saying, I know this exercise is going to be good for like my blood pressure or my heart rate, or, any other sort of ailment that you have, that maybe you're trying to put in check, like your cholesterol, as an example. So then last would be structural ability. It's just, the environment that you work in and changing that environment so that way it somehow works for you. If you're working out at home, setting up your space so it invites you in and doesn't necessarily deter you. So bright, sunny, things that are green like plants, versus like being in a basement. Maybe it's dark and, not well lit. But those are examples of the 6 sources of influence.
That is awesome. And we did have one great question here in the chat. We have about 1 minute left, so I'll go through it. This person says, all good points. It is boring to eat alone. Thoughts on how to eat alone without a TV or phone to have dinner with? TJ, do you have any ideas there?
Let's see. I was kind of almost thinking in the sense of like if there was like music, playing versus like just so that there was like some sort of noise. I could understand that. I'll think about that one.
Yeah, I think maybe making it more of an experience, maybe lighting some candles, trying to make an ambiance. I really like the idea of the music. Like if you're eating Italian food, maybe putting on some Italian music and really enjoying the food, taking some time to, be thankful and enjoy the food that you're eating. That's a really good question. I will get back to you too if we think of more ideas. But even if you do eat in front of the TV, maybe taking it slower and definitely like notice what you're eating. Maybe not have something really intense on, have something slow that's more of like a conversational piece. That's a great question. Wonderful. And thank you all so much for coming today. We really, really appreciate it. Sorry, we have to cut it off right now since I'm jumping on to teach a stretch break that you all are welcome to join as well. Feel free to reach out by email with more questions, or if you have a lot of questions, email us to schedule a wellness session, and we would love to chat more. So again, thank you all so much for joining. I have a couple chats. Okay, some thank yous. Wonderful. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.